Hello, so today I wanted to talk to you about health. Hi, my name's Dana, I'm from Good Fare, and we are an ethical shop that sells products that help, not harm the planet and all who live on it. So this week, a real reoccurring theme in my life has been around health, and it's not really something I'm overly interested in. I was once a personal trainer, and I did do a nutrition course many years ago. But I'm always kind of more interested in the ethical living, and I've never really put health and ethical living in the same boat. I've got the same interest as everyone in health in that I want to be healthy, but more recently I've been thinking that living ethically has more to health than what you might think. So I just wanted to share some thoughts with you that I've been having around why health and ethical consumerism might actually be linked. I've always been quite adamant that the shop here is not a health food shop, and it's really got nothing to do with health, because it's always been about sourcing ethical products, which in turn has led me on my own personal path of following a vegan diet, which actually has health benefits to it as well, as a bit of a bonus side effect to it. But actually, I'm now starting to believe and feel that health does actually have a role to play in the ethical consumer marketplace, and this is why. So firstly, once you begin your journey to ethical consumerism, you start to ask questions, whatever led you on your path, but it's normally about your products that you're buying, and whatever it was that got you thinking more ethically. For some people it might have been palm oil, veganism, it might be the plastic problem, or organic food. There's many different paths that you can kind of first come onto your ethical journey. One of the first things that we all do is we start to ask questions. And one of these questions that we often ask is, well, what is actually in my products? What am I buying? And we start to become a little bit more aware about the things that we're buying. One of the things with convenience shopping is that we have this idea that we grab and consume as fast as we can. So we buy the product, we eat it as fast as we can, and we throw the packaging away as fast as we can, which is then obviously going to end up on landfill, becoming quite a distant memory to us, not our problem anymore. But obviously when you become more ethical, you start to look at these products that you're buying, and you look at your consumers, and you start opening your eyes to what actually is in your products and what actually is happening to your products throughout the whole of the production. And this is where it comes to how I feel it's linked to health, because actually when you start to become aware of what's in your products, you start to kind of look at things, and you suddenly realise that some of the ingredients that they put in products are actually quite horrendous. Take processed bread, for example. You've got your standard things that you'd expect in there, like wheat and things. But I just did some quick looking this morning, actually. There's a product that's often found in bread with the E number E472E. It's called datum. Apparently it's considered safe by the food authorities, but in a study in 2002 on rats, it actually showed that heart muscle fibrosis and adrenal overgrowth occurred, and in high doses that agent actually acts as a muscle toxin, inhibiting the production of malic acid, which could cause paralysis and maybe death. And this is an ingredient that is in like everyday bread just bought from the supermarket, and you kind of think, why are they putting these products in our food? And I started thinking, maybe health is actually much more linked to what we eat than we think. So the next one I found in my bread is E471. It's a synthetic fat, which sounds quite disgusting in itself. I mean, disgusting. Produced from glycerol, which incidentally is palm oil, and naturally fatty acids, and sometimes comes from a pig. It's like, well, why are we putting like dead pig now, potentially? I mean, sometimes it's a plant-based source, but apparently it can come from either, and unless you contact the manufacturer, you've actually got no idea of knowing which they've used. And now suddenly there's like dead pig in bread. It's just it's a little bit crazy. The next one I found was absorbic acid, which is vitamin C. Sounds great. Add in some extra nutrients, which, although theoretically for eating a healthy diet we should be able to get all our nutrients from the diet, but sometimes we're lacking, and a bit of vitamin C sounds good. Although found this statement: studies over the last several years have demonstrated that people who take big high doses of absorbic acid actually put themselves at risk for a number of health challenges. It's kind of like it's a bit scary and it's a bit crazy. So then I started just kind of generally looking at other products, other foods that are in our products. But this list goes on and on. I could probably spend all day talking about this. There's a couple of things that I found. So TBHQ, it's found in a high percentage of everyday foods. For example, snack crackers, noodles, fast and frozen foods. Oh, here we go. It's allowed to be used in its higher concentrations in frozen fish. Okay. Allowed. Oh, and also found in paint. And then this comment. So research has linked TBHQ and BHA, another ingredient found in processed foods, to numerous possible health problems. Increased the incidence of tumours in rats. Cases of vision disturbances have been reported when humans consume TBHQ. Found TBHQ to cause liver enlargement, neurotoxic effects, convulsions, and paralysis in laboratory animals. And this is just listed as an everyday ingredient in a lot of processed foods. So the next one, sodium acid. Sorry, it just went a bit far on my sheet there. I've got to go back. Sodium acid pyrophosphate. I don't know. Has also been shown to harm your immune system. So there's another one for keeping. There is a lack of data available on human carcinogenicity, toxicity, mutagenicity, teratogenicity, and development of toxicity of sodium sterolactylate. However, it might cause a slight skin irritation and elevated temperatures. Direct contact with this product can cause thermal burns. The food additive can cause slight irritation in the respiratory tract. And these are products that are in our everyday food. It's almost like mind-boggling, and it's not like exclusive. This information is like widely available. It's not, I didn't have to search anywhere particularly hard. I just literally googled a couple of e-numbers for a couple of products that I found, and not even always e-numbers, sometimes just the words of the products, just to kind of see what they actually were, and then found out all this stuff. And this is like in pretty much all processed foods, and it's actually quite scary. And then there's the case of medication. So I know a couple of people at the moment who are going through quite a lot of medical problems and chronic conditions, really, that they've had all their lives. And I'm just kind of watching them get iller and iller while they're being pumped more and more with these drugs. And it's quite disturbing. It's making me quite angry, actually. And the more that I think about it, the more I feel like it's the medicine that's actually killing us. Many drugs and supplements. So this is something that I read, that many drug and supplement coatings contain potentially harmful plasticizing chemicals. Scientists don't yet know what the health risks are, but pregnant women might want to exercise caution. You couldn't even make this stuff up. It's just it's like almost like it's just crazy to think that why are we giving ill people products with toxic substances in them where they don't really seem to know what any of the side effects are. And I'm not suggesting that we just stop taking medication, because obviously I'm not an expert, and but I did want to just kind of point out which is what I've been feeling this week, really, and also kind of like looking at people who I know who are on long-term medication. They just seem to get iller and iller and get more and more conditions as they go. Yet the idea of taking medication surely is to feel better, but what if it's actually killing us? It's actually quite a scary thought. And then I thought, well, I'll just look at something quite simple like paracetamol, because that's a relatively easy drug to access, probably something that we've all had. And it rose to prominence in the 1960s because of the fears that aspirin and drugs like ibuprofen were causing internal bleeding, gastric ulcers, and other serious side effects. So people turned to paracetamol. And then I found this statement online that says paracetamol can actually be a very dangerous drug. Okay, which is true. Like, obviously, you can overdose on it, as we know. It can cause kidney and liver problems and causes as much gastrointestinal bleeding as NSAIDs, which is the same. So people used it because they're trying to avoid those, but actually in studies it's proven that it has exactly the same amount as of that. And it's actually quite scary that for years, decades even, we've been putting our hands into these big food corporations and big pharmaceutical corporations, which incidentally are two of the largest industries in the world, almost trusting them like with our health. And yet it turns out they've just been putting highly toxic and completely unnecessary ingredients into a lot of these products. And it's kind of, and when you look at the link to health problems and the rise of all sorts of health problems that we seem to be seeing these days, coinciding with the release of convenience foods, processed foods, it's almost like it's a no-brainer that the two are linked. And it's completely crazy that we as consumers allow this to happen, but yet they make these products so addictive, so we want it. And quite frankly, that is not ethical, and that's why health is in fact linked to ethics. So that's my little thought of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. See you all soon.